This is Andrew Bell, and this is vocabulary for our lesson about the Ancient Aliens TV series episode Underwater Worlds, Season 2, Episode 3. And this is not the full episode because that would be like 45 minutes. This is about half of that, so it's a partial episode. Lost cities submerged for thousands of years all over the world that are sunken cities. Submerge is a verb, and it means to cause to be underwater. Usually it's be submerged. Houses had been flooded and cars submerged, to be under the water. Sunken comes from sink, right? When something goes down, it sinks. The past tense is sank, S-A-N-K. The past participle is sunk. So we have here sink, sank, sunk. And then we have the verb here, the adjective sunken, having sunk or been submerged in water, the wreck of a sunken ship. 10 million square miles of land was flooded all around the world. That's roughly the size of Europe and China added together. We're just rubbed from the record. So if you have a pencil and you're writing on the paper and you want to erase it, the eraser, you essentially rub it, right? In fact, I think in some countries, maybe in England, they even call an eraser a rubber. Which we don't say in American English. Because for us, that a rubber means a condom. So, different meaning. Got to be careful with your English sometimes. In any case, to be rubbed from the record means to make it disappear. To erase. All right, to erase something. Yanaguni, Japan. This small island is at the westernmost tip of the Japanese archipelago. Westernmost means most west, the furthest west, situated furthest to the west. An archipelago is a group of islands. So you can talk about the Indonesian archipelago, the Philippine archipelago, the Japanese archipelago. Here we have a almost kind of little paragraph here with two different phrases. There is a set of megaliths positioned side by side against the side of the cliff. There's a gigantic face carved underwater. Is it coincidence that the Earth's 25th parallel north cuts through both the Bermuda Triangle and the Devil's Triangle? They lie on a plane along the same line, and both of them have the same magnetic phenomena, in which compass bearings are lost and instruments go down. A compass bearing is which direction the compass is telling you. Is it pointing north, south? So when you get your bearings, it means you know where you are. It means your orientation. It means you know where you are. I lost my bearings means I don't know where I am. So mega means very large, and lith means stone. So a megalith is a large stone, kind of like in Stonehenge in England. So a large stone that forms a prehistoric monument. When we talk about Devil's Triangle, that's like the eastern equivalent of the Bermuda Triangle. It has different names: the Devil's Sea, the Dragon's Triangle, the Formosa Triangle. That's another older word for Taiwan. Terra is the Latin name for Earth. It's the scientific name, actually. Earth is in English, right? Every language has their own word for Earth. Terra, however, is the scientific name. It comes from Latin. And then from terra, you have terrestrial, which is, somebody from Earth. And then extraterrestrial would mean outside of the Earth, from another planet or space or something like that. So extraterrestrial, also called E.T., right? The movie E.T. comes from extraterrestrial, is an alien. Could there be more evidence lying in the vast Pacific? Vast means large, big or large. There were written inscriptions inside her craft. Inscriptions are writings. It's just another way of saying written things, writings. Craft is a boat or spaceship, okay? A craft is a boat, it's a ship, either in space, a spaceship, or on the water. Clutching is holding on to. There were written inscriptions inside her craft that they could not identify, and she's clutching this box that she didn't want anybody to touch. She's holding. Dogu figures. This is a Dogu figure, and it comes from Japan. And even to the untrained eye, you look at this and it's as if this being is wearing some type of suit. So a trained eye would be a professional. The untrained eye is someone who's not a professional. So it's used as a way of referring to someone with little knowledge or experience of a particular activity or subject. To the untrained eye, it looks like a real diamond. What they're trying to say here is it's so obvious that these Dogu figures look strange. They look like, what primitive people might think an astronaut looks like. And it's obvious, is what they're saying. Archaeologists have cataloged the existence of more than 15,000 Dogu figures made during the Jomon period of prehistoric Japan, dating from approximately 14,000 to 300 BC. Now, before we get to BC, let's talk about the modern way, which is BCE and CE. CE means common era. Common era. And that's basically the last, right now, the year as I'm making this video is 2022. So it's 2022 years of common era. Before 2022 is before common era, and that's BCE. So you have common era and BCE. This is the new way of doing it, which removes any religious aspect. The older way, 50 years ago, was BC, meaning BCE, right? That's the equivalent, and AD, which is CE. But AD was Anno Domini, and it's the year Jesus was born, and BC is before Christ. And so this has a religious flavor, and some people don't like that, so they changed it. And they made it BCE and CE. But could, as ancient astronaut theorists believe, these strange Dogu figures really be a primitive interpretation of a pressurized spacesuit or diving apparel? Apparel is clothing, so diving equipment, it's a wetsuit, the special suit that you need when you dive. When you go deep into the water, the pressure is very strong, and you need equipment to help you breathe so that your lungs don't get crushed from the pressure. You need a special suit. The same thing when you go to space. When you go out into space, you need your own environment. You need your oxygen and you need your pressure. And so you have a special suit that's called a pressurized suit. The story behind these Dogu figures is very clear, and anyone can go to read the translations of the ancient texts that the Dogu, a long time ago, descended or came down. They descended from the sky and taught the first Japanese people in various disciplines. Discipline is like an area or a field. When you go to college, you study a discipline. That's what you learn. So it's a branch of knowledge. Do the mysterious Dogu figures provide tangible evidence of extraterrestrial encounters in Japan's ancient past? So we can think of this about concrete and abstract. Concrete is something you can touch. So another way of saying concrete is tangible And another way of saying abstract, which is something that you cannot touch, would be intangible. So intangible you cannot touch, tangible you can touch. Okay, that finishes up our vocabulary for our unit about underwater aliens from Ancient Aliens.